So here in California, there was the Palisades fires that happened when Trump came into office. And that was like a lot of MAGA were saying, yeah, Trump, we're going to own the libs. Yeah, no FEMA, none of that stuff for these people. And yeah, California came together and we raised money. We had concerts and we did all kinds of stuff. Uh, but the honest truth is, gutting FEMA does have some impact in California, but not a massive impact. Because California has earthquakes, and yes, earthquakes cause damage. This is true, but you can but you can construct or reconstruct foundations of buildings to better prepare and foundations of other things for the earthquake, because you know that the earth is going to move a certain way because of how a fault line is shaped, and therefore you can change the building or the foundation of anything that's sitting on the earth to be able to deal with the reality of how that earth shakes, how that earth moves. That's why earthquakes that are hitting California that are, sixes, and they're even as high as sixes, almost sevens, that sort of thing, close to sevens, maybe even a little higher, that they don't do a whole lot of damage. And the reason why they don't do a whole lot of damage is because we've designed our building structures to resist earthquakes based on that structure. The gutting of FEMA and NOAA is the main thing it's going to impact. And we're about to experience it, and we have experienced it. Tornado Alley, which is kind of the central portion of the United States, that's going to get hit a lot and is already being hit. And FEMA aid that's supposed to be going to states like Kansas and others is being delayed or ended, and then we are now in the early stages of hurricane season. And then you have weather reports like this one.
Friday, the president took it a step further in his remarks from Western North Carolina.
FEMA's turned out to be a disaster, and I think we're going to recommend that FEMA go away.
President Trump says he plans to sign an executive order that would dramatically overhaul FEMA or get rid of it entirely.
To give North Carolina and the other impacted states the support they need and deserve. Well, instead, the governor of North Carolina received this letter after his state was denied additional federal support back in April. Donald Trump's FEMA writes, postmarked May 22nd, after a careful and thorough review of all the information available, we've concluded that an extension of the 100% federal cost share for debris removal and emergency protective measures, including direct federal assistance for an additional 100 days, is not warranted. Tough. Too bad.
How would you describe your level of concern when it comes to this upcoming hurricane season?
Feel kind of uncertain. It brings a concern as to whether the work is getting done to the best of their ability due to heavy workloads now.
About 2,200 employees of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, have been fired or took buyouts since January. More than 500 worked with the National Weather Service, which oversees the National Hurricane Center.
Listen, I've been on this, since 8 o'clock this morning on social media, and there is a lot of anxiety out there because you don't see it turning, right? When is it going to turn? John, it's not turning. It's coming straight to us. It's going to turn, all right? The turn was never forecast to be on Sunday. The turn isn't even on Monday morning. The turn will come Monday afternoon, Monday evening, into Tuesday. Remember that? That was about 6 years ago. That was Hurricane Dorian, as it was absolutely devastating the northwest Bahamas as a Category 5, sat over that region for 2 days. It was headed straight west. Lots of people in Florida were concerned the hurricane was heading here. And as you've grown accustomed to my presentations over my 34 years in South Florida newscasts, confidently, I went on TV and I told you it's going to turn. You don't need to worry. It is going to turn. And I am here to tell you that I am not sure I can do that this year. because of the cuts, the gutting, the sledgehammer attack on science in general, and I could talk about that for a long, long time, and how that is affecting the U.S. Leadership in science over many years, and how we're losing that leadership, and this is a multi-generational impact on science in this country.
They don't quite yet know how to track hurricanes that are coming. And the waters of the Gulf of Mexico have never been this warm. That means there's going to be some big hurricanes. And hopefully they won't hit the United States, but it's likely they will. Or one or more of them will, because that's just how it works. The Gulf of Mexico's warm waters produce hurricanes. It's why it has a season. It's why it happens just at the, it just starts to happen as we get near the end, the later part of the summer. Is because the water is that warm, and you get what you get. But with the hundreds of people that have been fired from NOAA, they can't accurately predict the weather, and literally the man who is in charge of NOAA and FEMA doesn't know how hurricane season works. People in the Gulf states, it's coming. And I'm praying to God that I'm wrong, and that FEMA will be there. But Trump is gutting FEMA. I do hope you all the best. But you voted for this man. And now that vote is going to show up in a gutted FEMA and a gutted NOAA during a hurricane season where they believe that as many as 7 to 10 hurricanes could be created this year. Please be safe. Thank you.